Hedge Cutie, welcome to the video tutorial for Harley the Hedgie. This is going to be so much fun to make together. So this video specifically is going to show you how to use your embroidery files to complete the applique portion. So from the pattern that you get in your kit, you're going to want to go to your instructions. You can see these are mine that I write on. So as I do it and test it myself, when I'm filming, I check it off. So you get to see my original. So every single page is going to give you step-by-step instructions. Take a look. And I want to point out the little key at the bottom, right? So we tell you when to remove your hoop, return your hoop, and or keep it on, change your thread color, and then of course load your USB file. So we have step-by-step instructions, and we've also notated your color changes really easily, okay? So you're going to use your pattern for that. Now, the things that I like to have with me to make this process easier is, of course, my perfect stack, which is underneath here. I have my light pad, my cutting mat, my applique glass, my fusing mat, my Steady Betty, and of course, my steam fast travel iron. You'll see me use it throughout the tutorial. And of course, my favorite scissors, my Karen K Buckleys. And then I have my 8x12 hoop loaded with my stabilizer. So I'm gonna put that on my machine. And this is the Sulky Tear Easy Stabilizer. I absolutely love working with it. So then the other items that you're going to want to have with you, we have the 40 weight thread kit. Look at those beautiful colors. So you want to have all your threads ready to go. Again, every color is notated in your pattern. And then you are going to, of course, have your fabric already cut or starched and then cut to size that you need. What we're going to do with that is take it and fold it in half right sides together, like so. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to trim it down, right? And then we're going to fold it in half again, so basically in quarters. I'm going to give it just a little press, not much, so that I can easily put it in place with the first step. So for now, I'll set that aside. And then of course you have all your pre-fused laser cut applique pieces. So what I'm gonna do is get all of these out of my bag. I'm gonna go on and peel all my backing off, but a tip for you, if you want, you can use the placement guide included and you can number each piece. So if this is maybe your first time working with embroidery files and pre-fused laser cut applique pieces, numbering on the back is a great idea, and you can just peel your backing as you go. I, however, am pretty familiar with the pieces, right? So I'm gonna go on and peel the backing. So a tip for peeling the backing, you'll just put it fabric side up, pick a spot to start, just crimp it and see immediately it releases. And so then I'm able to peel the backing all the way off. And so you're just gonna work your way around, peeling it off all the way. And then just make sure that you keep all your little pieces with you, handy dandy. Now you do have to clip some of your pieces free, right? Like they're lasered everywhere except a little area to clip. And so you just take your Karen K Buckleys, they're sharp all the way to the end, give it a little snip and your piece is free. So get everything ready. What you're gonna do is load that white thread into your machine, load your Harley Hedgie applique embroidery file, and we're gonna get started with the very first step. All right, so now what we have stitched for the very first step is just a little T right in the center of our hoop. So I'm gonna take it and put it on my Steady Betty, my hoop, and I always turn my hoop sideways because it fits best, one, in the camera view for you, and two, it fits nicely on my Steady Betty. So remember our background fabric that we folded? It doesn't matter where you place it, you just wanna line it up with a section of the T. You're gonna put your folded edges at the T, and you're just gonna unfold it once, and unfold it again. Now remember, we're gonna trim this down quite a bit, about 1.5 inches or so total. And yes, it's gonna flip over the edges of your hoop. No big deal. That's what we know is gonna happen, and it's just fine. What I am gonna do is give this some tape to hold it in place. Now the tape that I'm working with is called 3M transport tape. I refer to it as medical tape. It's a long time ago, back in the day when Mom was in the medical industry, she always had these rolls of these in her pocket. So to me, it's like mom tape. So I have that taped in. I'll show you what it looks like the inside, so you can just order that online. No big deal, little tape. I honestly order it from Amazon because you get like 6 or 12 rolls. And so my piece is taped in place. So again, we're going to keep the white thread on our machine. When we put this back on, the machine is going to give us just a short straight line at the top and bottom of our fabric. That is ultimately going to be a trim guide for us, right? A little cheater line. So when we're trimming this down at the end before we finish the piecing of the block, we'll have a guide. And then it's going to give us our first applique outline. All right, so take a look at your hoop. You have one big Hedgie outline, right? So what I'm gonna do is iron that into place. So every time I take my hoop on and off, I'm really careful not to disturb the contents of my frame, right? If I get this out of alignment, the project will be out of alignment. So just gently put it on your steady Betty after every step. You don't have anything to worry about. So what we're gonna do is put our little Hedgie in place. So when you're working with a really big piece like this that's got a lot of little like jut outs and stuff, just make sure you have it in place all the way around where you want it. It's gonna line up perfectly with those stitch lines. And then what we're gonna do is work our way around, right? So I'm gonna start right here in the center and give this little guy a press, and then just work my way all the way around, making sure that he stays in place. Let's do a little pressing down here just to kind of tack him in. There we go. All right, and just kind of working on every little jut out, because this piece is much larger than the one you had in your starter kit, right? There we go. Awesome. And we're gonna do the same thing over here, just to make sure you have him good and in place. Now I do want to remind you, you have tape, right? So I'm making sure that I don't iron that tape, because that doesn't look good on your iron, right? It can get sticky for all the following things you iron, and no one wants to have to clean and iron. There we go. All right, so my little Hedgie is ironed nicely. Look at him. So now again, with the white thread still on, the machine is going to give us an outline for our next step, which is just two little brown ear pieces. So now what you'll see, you have your two ears outlined, and the ears are different. So you want to make sure you put the right ear in the right place. Again, your pieces are always going to be a perfect fit. So I'm just going to put one in place right here. There we go. And then the other piece right here. And again, it only takes a second to iron your pieces on. There we go. All right, time for the next round of applique outlines. Okay, so the pieces that we're gonna iron on are the two pink insides of the ear for Harley, and then his big white body. So it's a really cute fabric that we're using for the ears every month, and this is a fabric from Moda. I believe it's like textured or Zen chic. I forget who designed it, but it's really nice. And then you're just gonna make sure you put your right ear in the right place. And the fabric lines up perfectly. You'll notice that your body and your ear and the pink part of your ear all line up perfectly on this curve, so you know you have it in the right place. There we go. And then, so I just want to point out, you know, this isn't the inner line right here, that straight line that's going all the way around. That's not where the bottom of your pink lines up. It lines up all the way at the edge of the fabric, right? There we go. All right, and now time for his big body. This is such a fun print. It's from our friends at Riley Blake. It's called Kisses. It's little X's printed on it, so it's a nice tone on tone. We love tone on tones. So again, with a big piece, make sure you've got it nice and in place everywhere. And then you're just gonna work your way up. You wanna make sure, of course, that you have that point in the center nicely in place. Look at that. Oh, I love it. There we go. Perfect. So cute. So now what you're gonna do is put this back on, still with the white thread, of course, and the machine is gonna give us an outline of where we're gonna put his two little feet and his nose and two cheeks. Okay, so we have those outlined. Let's go on and iron them in place. So we have our two little cheeks. Just gonna put those right into position and give those a press. Boop. And then his cute little nose. Look at this nose, so cute. So we'll put that right in place. Boop. There we go. And then his 2 feetsies. Now the feet are different. It's easy to tell which is which because they have like kind of some funny angles on them. So we'll put one in place right there. Again, be careful not to iron on your tape. At this point, you can go in and remove the tape, honestly, because your piece isn't going anywhere, is it? So I am gonna move that so I don't accidentally iron it. And then your other little footsie right here. And again, these pieces line up perfectly, right, on the edges. So it's very easy to line them up. So now when we put this back on, the machine is going to outline our bat, still with the white thread. All right, so here's the outline of our bat. I'm really excited to put it on. It's so cute. He's hanging out with his friend Harley. Alrighty, and then make sure again it's lined up everywhere, and then you just begin pressing. So just work your way around, and I'm not dragging the iron. I know it probably looks like I am, but I do gently lift it to make sure that I'm not pulling my piece, right? So now we're gonna put this back on, and we're gonna have our last round of applique outline. So the machine is gonna give us both position pieces for the hands, and then of course the embellishments on our bat. All right, so we're on the last step that includes ironing. So let's get our pieces in place. I'm gonna start with the hands. And again, the edge of your fabric is gonna line up perfectly with the edge of his body. So very easy to get in place, like so. And then we'll put his other little hand right on. There we go. Perfect. And now let's do the little pieces on the bat. So fun thing with the eyes, you're gonna be like, hey Brittany, there are more eyes than I need. Well, what we're doing is we're double lining them so that it appears as a very nice, fresh white, right? If we did just one layer of the white, it'd kind of come across as a little gray, if you will. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna pick up my little pieces and get these right in place. That one I think is this guy. And again, you can have them numbered already from the beginning. When you're doing little pieces though, make sure you have the fusible side down. There we go. You can kind of, it's easy to line up because you kind of identify that curve on the tooth. There you go. And I'm going to show you a little trick. When you're putting something really little in place, if you're like, oh man, I kind of messed up, just very gently while it's still warm, see how it's easy to move around? Just very gently move that into place. And then as it cools, it like solidifies and sticks. So now with the eyes, again, we have 2 of each. So what I'm going to do for the first round is put 1 in place on each one. Now it's easy for the eyes. All 4 circles or ovals that you have are the exact shape. They're symmetrical, so it's nice and easy to put in place. Again, give it a quick press. Make sure you like your positioning. There you go. And then we're going to put that second layer right on top. And see the difference? You can tell it just gets that little bit crisper white, which is good. There we go. And we're gonna give this a press. So we're gonna leave the white thread on for one more step, and guess what the machine is gonna stitch? You guessed it, our cute little white eyes. So let's put this on and go on to the next step. All right, so the white has the cutest little buttonhole stitch on it now. So from here on out, I'm gonna take my hoop on and off. You don't need to do that. You can keep your hoop on. I'm only doing it so I can talk to you about the thread colors and talk about what just stitched and what's about to stitch. So it's time for our first of several color changes. We are now gonna put on the tawny tan, and the machine is, you guessed it, gonna stitch all of our little Hedgie body parts and his actual body and the outer part of his ears. Yay, take a look at this perfection. All in one fell swoop. All of that tawny tan is stitched and I love it. So now we're going to change to the pink thread. Again, you don't need to take your hoop on and off. I'm simply doing it to talk about it with you. So the pink is going to stitch your ear, both cheeks and the nose, give you a little mouth, and your other ear. Alrighty, it has a little smile now. So all of your pink is stitched. Now you're gonna change to black, and the machine is of course going to stitch the outer part of your bat, and it's also gonna give him some little eyeballs. Oh my goodness, look at our little bat's eyes. That's so cute. So you do have your eyelashes, and you'll have a little thread to trim there. So you're just gonna give a little bitty trim. And that's another reason I like these little Karen K Buckleys. They're sharp all the way to the edge, so I can get in real close. And then do a little trim right here. Now, if you notice when I like flipped it away, the extra thread, that it left little hairies. And we don't want any hairies on Harley. So just take a piece of your tape, and it's like a little mini lint roller. So let's take a look at our Harley so far. Only 2 more steps on the embroidery machine. So now we're gonna load our purple, and the machine is, you guessed it, gonna stitch the bow tie. Alrighty, now our little bow tie is stitched. So very last step is to load your green, and the machine is, you guessed it, gonna stitch your teeth and then give you some really nice definition for your bat smile. Alrighty, you're all done. Let's take a look at little Harley up close. Adorable. So now you can take this out of your hoop, and what you're going to do is go to your pattern and follow the sizes that it tells you to trim. You're going to remove all of your stabilizer, and then I do want to point out, with your full-size placement guide, you can put this block right on top of your full-size placement guide on your cutting mat that comes with your light pad. Put it right over your light pad and use those guidelines for your trimming. You can mark them with a friction pin, something that irons away nicely, or a really thin Pigma pin. But I do want to point out that I included a nice straight line at the top and bottom to help guide your placement as well on that placement guide. And this is just a little guide to give you an idea of where the top and bottom are. So I hope that you have thoroughly enjoyed making little Harley. I know I did, and I'm already so excited to make next month. Thank you so much for being a member of the Harley, or I'm sorry, of the Hedgies. It's all about Harley today. And I hope that you enjoy every single month. Happy stitching!